Strap on that armor and shake that ass because it's episode 160 of the Fanboy Podcast. I'm Brett Miro, and once again, I will be doing the podcast solo as Mario is away on a family vacation. He will return next week, and hopefully we will get to that long-awaited and advertised fan mail episode where we can go ahead and go through some of your questions and topics. We have quite a few built up in the old Fanboy podcast at gmail.com. And we also have some that were put on Twitter when we were advertising that we were going to record it last week, but then, life got in the way and we had to postpone that. So thank you guys for being patient with us, and I hope you will look forward to that. We do plan to get that out to you, as well as hopefully a regular episode next week as well. I would love to tackle both and give you like an extra bonus. But yeah, all that being said, all that little housekeeping out of the way, I hope everyone's doing great. I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. It's crazy how quick the summer is going. August is just about over. We're back September. I'm sure for those of you that are parents, you cannot wait for your kids to go back. So good for you. I'm sure you're looking forward. But at the same time, there's something always melancholy about the end of the summer. I don't know what it is, and I don't like it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We have a great show today. A lot of topics, a lot of different topics, which is really fun for me to talk about and comment on today. So let's go ahead and get started off, though, with our usual what Brett's been watching and playing. So I will start off with what I've been watching. And what I did get a chance to do about a day or two ago. Was it yesterday? I don't remember anymore. Time is a flat circle. I got around to watching Prey on Hulu. So that is the fifth Predator movie and the newest one. And it was straight to streaming release on Hulu. So a lot of buzz on it when it came out. A lot of people calling it, one of the some people have been saying it's the best Predator movie. I see a lot of people saying it's the second best because a lot of people have a lot of affection for the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But most overall, I'm seeing it rank up in the higher picks as far as best Predator movie. So my background on Predator, honest to God, I'm not 100% sure. I have seen the original Predator or Predator 2 in full. I very well may have, but it was a very, very, very long time ago. Probably like not in my adult years. I have seen bits and pieces of it. I've caught it at people's houses or it's just been on TV, things like that. So I'm familiar with it. Like I know what happens. I know the whole premise, but I'm not like a Predator super fan. I did see the Predator that released a few years back, the Shane Black one. Mario and I actually had a press screening of that. And, I don't think he's a huge, diehard Predator fan either. So, listen, I know that one, no one really liked it. For me, it was fine. It was goofy. It was a fun little romp. It was not incredible cinema. So, and like I said, I've seen the originals, the early released ones so long ago that for me to even make some kind of comparison is just stupid. So that said, I watched Prey, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was a really cool idea. So for those of you that don't know, this one is actually, I guess it's a prequel. It's set back about 300 years. It takes place in 1719, and it follows a young female warrior from the Comanche tribe and the Northern Great Plains in the what will become the United States. So really, really cool concept. Even the Predator in this that shows up is a little, still has a lot of high tech stuff because he's an alien and gets dropped off by a fucking spaceship. So obviously they're technologically advanced, but he's a little more raw. And it looks like some of his weapons and equipment is not as refined or upgraded as we've seen in some of the more modern installments. So it kind of feels like, okay, maybe his society, even though it is still very advanced, the Predator society is actually it's 300 years. It's actually 300 years back in there. So some things are not fully figured yet. Maybe not all their technology is there yet that we used to, like I said, we're used to seeing in the modern ones. But yeah, it was a really cool concept. The original, the actress who plays, I think it's Naru or something. I'm going to forget the name. It's something with an N, in the main character in the film. Amber Midthunder is the actress's name, which is one of the coolest names ever. Amber Midthunder, by the way. She's incredible. She plays this young woman and, who's definitely not really as respected by a lot of the male warriors and stuff like that. But she's an excellent tracker. And she's just I think her brother character says something in the film, like, you see the things that I don't, like, she's very resourceful and like really notices a lot of details. And so she's able to kind of like use the environment and planning, and she's very crafty. So yeah, it was a dope movie. The fight scenes were really cool. It was cool to see, like I said, a more primitive, not just like guns and explosions going off every 5 seconds. There was just like a lot more, cool, like visceral combat in it. And yeah, it was really good. So I highly recommend it if you, even if you're not a Predator fan, because like I said, I'm not like, I think they're all fine, but I really enjoyed the movie quite a bit. So I would say check it out, especially if you have Hulu. It's on there. It's like included in your subscription. So there's like no excuse to like not just check it out. I think it's like an hour, like 40 minutes. So it's not horrible. It's not like 2.5 hours. And I think for the most part, it's very interesting throughout. Like there wasn't really too many lulls. I thought it was well paced. Dan Trachtenberg, I believe, who did he did one of the Cloverfields, maybe the Cloverfield Paradox, or maybe he did Cloverfield Lane. I forgot. If it was the latter that I just said, the Cloverfield Lane, that was definitely the better received versus the Cloverfield Paradox. But so hopefully he did that one, because people like that one and I like that one a lot. But anyway, it was really cool. So and it's certainly. No spoilers, but they kind of could leave it open for a sequel to take place in that timeline. But very, very neat. I enjoyed Prey a lot. So that's my quick little review. As far as what I've been playing, so last weekend, there was like a play Far Cry 6 for free on Xbox, like the whole weekend, and I didn't see it until like Sunday night. But I started like I was like, all right, fine, I'll download it and play it. I want to check this one out. I played 5. And I played New Dawn, and they're fun. Like, they're like, they're whatever. They're just like check the boxes, do the things. But I'm such a sucker. I'm such a sucker for when it's just like, oh, take down this enemy camp, and I can just go and like stealth it, or like go in guns blazing. Like, I just love taking down camps and fortresses, which is pretty much why I love like Assassin's Creed. I'm a sucker for that stuff all day. So Far Cry, I was like, yeah, it's fun, whatever. I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking, although that series definitely does need to like shake things up in the next installment. Especially because these last 3 feel very samey, but they're still fun. I don't know. So I started to play, and then of course after Sunday night, it was like, you can't play this anymore. And I played like a couple hours, and nothing crazy, 2-3 hours. But I was like, oh, now I have like an itch to play it, and then it ended up being on sale for like $23.99. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna pull the trigger. So I ended up buying Far Cry 6. So I've been playing that actually, which is very fun. I've also been dipping back into the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, trying to get that first place with the 3 gold stars. So that's like first place on all 4 races in the Grand Prix for the new tracks they just released. I finally got the first of the 2 of the new wave, the one that has the sweet Candyland. Or no, that's in the second one. It's the one that has New York Minute. It starts with New York Minute, and it has Calamari Desert. That Grand Prix. So I finally did that one, and I've been trying to do it on the other one. That's the one that has the sweet dessert land or whatever it is at the end. It's like a new course. And oh my god, I played a little earlier today. I got first place in the first 3 races, and then on like the last turn on the last race, I got like just hit with a bunch of bullshit because it's Mario Kart, and I got screwed at the end right there. And I think I ended up still pulling off second, but it screwed me from getting that perfect record on that course. So hey, what are you going to do? Life goes on. So I've been dipping into that. I still plan to go back to Tales of Arise. I know I can't, I haven't touched that in a little bit, but like, I know I can't leave it for too long. Otherwise I'm going to forget what's going on. And it's just like very story focused, but I'm going to try to get back into there and like beeline it. I'm going to be honest with that game. I fight like almost every enemy that like I see on screen. If I get into a dungeon, I fight every fucking enemy. I don't run past anybody. So I've been really grinding. Like, I'm sure I could grind more, because you can always grind more, but I've been grinding, I think, enough. Like, I feel, in my opinion, I feel like I've been doing enough that I should be like fairly leveled against a lot of these bosses. And some of these bosses, like the spikes in difficulty, are like really crazy, and some of them can take like a very long time. And then when you like die and lose, it's like really annoying because you have to like start the entire fucking fight over, and it's like, it's stressful. So I think for like one of the last fights, I think I dropped the difficulty down to like easy or like story mode, because I was like, and even then it was still fucking hard. Like I was like on like my last inches of life. I had like, and I was like, had party members down. Because it's like hard, like you don't get like that much money in this game, and like items are very expensive, and then like you can use your CP, which is like your magic points, like your combat points, I guess. So whenever you're doing recovering or reviving spells, or like astral magic, whatever the fuck it's called in this game. When you're doing that, it uses like a chunk of your CP, and like some of them, like when you revive somebody, it takes like 45 CP, and like maybe you have like I have like this point like a little over 200 or like 250. So I mean like 45 CP, you do that a couple of times, like that's like you have maybe like 6 revives, and you don't really, because like your party's also healing in between, which uses like I don't know, like 10 or 20 CP. So it's just like that part's been getting a little annoying. So that's kind of why I put it down for a bit. So, but I do want to go back to it. But I might just honestly put it on easy baby mode and just kind of go through it, because like the story was kind of neat, for like this like anime story, and I want to see it through. It's a pretty game. I do want to see like the other areas and like some of the other cool stuff like you can get and equip, and or if like any other special things open up. I don't know if like there's like an airship later, like some cool shit like that I might want to check out. I feel like probably not, just because the way the game is segmented off. It's not really like open world. But anyway, so I still want to dip into that. Did I say I beat Stray? I forgot if I mentioned that, but I'd been playing Stray, which is the cat game. I might have talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I did beat that. So I'm done with that. And then what else? I had something else I was dipping into also. Oh, the Escape Academy game. I want to get back to that on Xbox. And there's another PlayStation 5 game that I've been playing too, along with Tales of Arise. And it's just totally escaping me right now. So it's not that important. It is what it is. So that's what I've been watching and playing. We spent enough time on this segment. So anyway, recommendation, Prey. Go check it out. Next, Superman on film update. Still got nothing. We still got nothing. I'm sorry, guys. We have nothing. I really hope we get some news soon. Superman's in that game Multiverses, which I haven't checked out at all, like the Smash Brothers clone, and I heard he's super OP, and it's like, duh, he's fucking Superman. I don't know. I haven't touched that game. People should let me know if you've played it. Is it worth my time? Should I check it out? I think it's free. Should I try it? There's probably nothing really in my way from just doing it. So maybe I'll check it out and I'll give you some feedback next time. But that's a Superman on film update. There is no Superman on film update. Ugh. Okay, so that's too bad. So yeah, let's get into the topics for this week's episode. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff. We got a smorgasbord, and I'm going to start off with obviously a big topic that we've been covering on the show for a while now, a couple of months, I guess. But we actually got word that Ezra Miller has apologized. So Variety put this out, and I'll just read right here. I'm going to read the quote from Ezra Miller. So, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis on Infinite Earths, he didn't say that, obviously, just intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. So it looks like hopefully that situation is getting under control. There's obviously been I've seen a lot of chatter online because they canceled Batgirl, they've been canceling all these other projects, but you have this guy running around. Ezra Miller running around, obviously not well, doing some crazy stuff, and the people are like, well, why hasn't the Flash been axed? And I didn't put it on the topics today because like now this apology came out, but like a week ago we would have covered it. There was apparently like some information from Warner Brothers that they had 3 different scenarios. Either he apologizes, we get him back on track, or we I guess scrapping the movie like was on the table kind of, but like last ditch effort. And then there was one where like they just don't have him like do any press or something. I forgot. There were like 3 options. So it looks like the apology option has happened. So I've also seen some people saying like the apology is not enough. Like you hurt and damaged, people. And, that's true. And, obviously he's suffering they are suffering. Like you said, complex mental health issues. It's very clear they're having like a manic episode. Obviously, the behavior has just been wild. And if you've seen some of like the video that came out, it's just very, it's like wild. So I think overall, I mean, it's a good thing. I'm glad they apologized. Some people also are saying, that it's kind of like a manufactured. It sounds like a PR like line. Maybe it is. Maybe they are not really well enough to make this statement themselves. Maybe they were just like, all right, we got him to agree to go get him help. And then like, his management team and PR were like, all right, we'll take care of this. You know what I mean? And they put out the statement because it does seem like a statement that was put out. It's very manicured, as you would say. So I don't know if that's like if it's insincere or not, but like I said, they're clearly not well. I cannot talk today. They are clearly not well. So I do hope they get help, and I do hope, that anyone, no one was like severely harmed or hurt or from his behavior, or like this family that was like with him. I don't know, that like some of them were saying that Ezra Miller was protecting them from like an abusive husband. I don't know. It's like there's a lot of crazy articles and stuff out there. Like I said, we've been covering on here. If you've been listening, we've talked about it, it. Or if you're in this mix, interested in like obviously the superheroes and all the behind the scenes stuff, you've definitely read the information. So let's see what happens. It looks like they're going to get help. Hopefully they get better, and we can get this Flash movie, and it'll finally come out. This poor movie has had so many directors and scripts, and it's just so much trouble, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll be curious. Like even if they do get help, if Ezra Miller will be like appearing for press on this and stuff like that, I could kind of see him or them. I'm sorry. I'm every day trying to get better with these. Doing the right thing. I'll call anybody whatever they want to be called. It's fine. But pardon me if I don't get it right every time, because just old habits die hard. But I'm trying. Hopefully they get the help they need, and whatever. Everything works out the best for everybody. And I'm sorry if you're pissed about this or like don't feel it's sincere and stuff. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I want to give the person the benefit of the doubt. They have not been well. So that's that. So hopefully that's the end of that. We don't have to keep reporting on it. Next though is something cool, because I haven't heard news about this in a while, and I know Mario and I talked about this a while ago, and I've been very excited for it. He was too. But I got the John Wick prequel, which is called The Continental, is set to debut in 2023 on Peacock. So Peacock is the NBC subscription service. It was originally supposed to be on Stars, but they acquired the rights. I guess Universal did, because Universal is the parent company. They acquired the series and the rights to the John Wick trilogy. So Peacock is now be able to bolster that on their subscription service, and they're going to have the show. So we did know this was going to be, that was like the only details we kind of knew when this first got announced. It was going to be called The Continental. It was going to be about the hotel that serves as like that little neutral ground for the assassins that we see in the John Wick movies. I think specifically 2 and 3 is where that really came into play. Or they like kind of in 2 and 3 they beefed up the importance of it more, and the actual location. I'm pretty sure the location was in the first one. But I always thought that was it was cool. They built out this little like world of assassins, and I think that's really, really neat. But we got a little more information now. So the story is going to be told from the perspective of Winston Scott. And he's actually playing a young version of Ian McShane's character in the film. I'm sorry. Winston Scott is the name of Ian McShane's character in the film, and the actor Colin Woodell will be portraying him. So it takes place in 1975. So it's also like a prequel / period piece. It's not taking place alongside the John Wick series. So it's Ian McShane, a younger version of Ian McShane's character, Winston Scott, is the main character. And it's going to be about him arriving in New York City to take up the position as the Continental's new manager. I think that's like a really cool idea and a really cool setup. And I am super, super into it. The other thing though, there is another little detail that I found out that I know some people are not happy about. And listen, I like the guy. I try to separate the art from the artist. He's not the best person. He's got a lot of, things that he's said and done, and had some issues over the years, but Mel Gibson has been cast in the show. So I don't know if that's going to hurt it or not. I wonder if that will stick. But he said a lot of anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic stuff, and uses had accusations of domestic violence. We know the Mel Gibson story. He's got some problems. Once one of our great artists or actors in Hollywood, and it really fell far. But this is considering how popular the John Wick franchise is, this is a pretty high profile show. It's going to be probably like a flagship show on Peacock, which is still, by the way, the worst subscription service name ever, is that. So yeah, I'm really excited for this 2023. I don't think we have like a date yet. It looks like John Wick Chapter 4 is supposed to hit in theaters March 2023. So I would imagine maybe we see this near the launch of that of the movie, maybe to coincide with it, or like maybe like not that long after, while like there's still people riding the high from the movie. Maybe you launch it in like May or June or something like that and get people on board. Could be really cool. I think that's great. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a show I definitely check out. Now, moving on. CW is going cheaper and older. So if you don't know, during this with this Warner Brothers Discovery merger, they actually sold off the CW. Which I guess kind of makes sense. Like all the Arrowverse shows have been getting canceled and shut down, so it's clear that they are trying to stop production, save money, and probably dump CW off. It's kind of like it's not like a secret that the CW is like not profitable. Like it has not like brought in a profit or made any money. So and I think with Warner Brothers Discovery trying to cut costs and renew focus on certain things, it makes sense that CW would get cut and go. So obviously we still have one more season of The Flash that's going to air, and then that show's done. And I think that's the last of the Arrowverse shows, if I'm not mistaken. So, but the new owners, which is Nexstar Media Group, so they want to lower the network's losses, obviously, and they want to make this. Why would you buy this unless you wanted to try to make a profit and make it profitable? So, what was interesting though, there's some interesting information in this. So, apparently, according to their stats, the average age of the CW watcher is 58 years old. And you would think, just based on the programming, the teens to 30-year-old kind of demographic is what would be watching that. Like, I'm 36. I used to watch Hourverse. I know there's a guy in there, younger than me in their early 30s and in their 20s, like they are, and high schoolers, they watch the CW and they watch that stuff. So you would think that, but apparently it's 58 years old, which is kind of funny and also like kind of creepy. And also, am I the creepy guy too? Because it's like, can you just imagine all these like 50 and 60-year-old men just watching all these like young women in like tight superhero outfits? I mean, that's like, when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, like that's who's watching these shows. It's like, it sounds like exploitative now and is really creepy, which I kind of find amusing. And not in a sick way. I don't want anything that's gross, you know what I mean? But it's funny. Yeah, it's like this article too, by the way, I should give credit. It's from the AV Club by Savannah Olson. So, because like I don't want to like steal her words and stuff like that. But she makes a good observation here. She says, could these stats have been taken from only those who watch the CW on cable boxes, giving them a leaning more towards an older viewer? She says, if so, that seems pretty risky to not take into account streaming views, which amasses a much younger audience for binge watching and next day episode plays. So yeah, that is interesting. Like, I really wonder if like they are only lurking at a certain segment. I find that hard to believe that the average watcher is 58 years old. Like, because I know for me too, I would probably watch it on like next day streaming for the most part. Because I don't have cable. I'm a cord cutter, or I would watch it on like Sling or something. I don't even know if actually I got CW on Sling. I definitely watched it through some other means. Maybe the CW app. I did, or something like that with like my dad's login because he still pays for cable. So yeah, it's that's just some interesting information to me. So yeah, I mean, I guess in a way, I know a lot of people are sad that the Arrowverse shows are going and the CW is like cutting all these shows, but obviously, well, Warner Brothers Discovery not owning them anymore kind of means like they're not going to put content on there. But even so, like with the fact that they're trying to cut corners here and cut costs and make things much cheaper, so they can make a profit, it wouldn't have spelled anything that great. Obviously, like the budgets were probably high, so to speak, on the CW shows, but we've seen some like shoddy effects, and I'm sure it's a big budget for how many episodes they're producing, but at the same time, it's like not big enough for what they really need to do. So now, if you had it even like cheaper, forget it. Like those shows would kind of look like crap, probably. So yeah, that's what's going on. So I mean, like, goodbye CW. Apparently they're going to do like cheaper unscripted shows. So I guess like cheaper reality shows. And they're going to try to make more content that's aimed towards their 50-year-old average viewer. So yeah, I don't know where like Riverdale and all these other shows are going that are still on there, like Supernatural and stuff like that. But that's that. Rest in peace, CW. I don't see how that is going to work out. All right. The next story we have, this one's really cool. So we have the what's the show? The D23 Expo is next month, and there was just announced that on Friday, September 9th, as part of the D23 Expo, there will be a Disney and Marvel games showcase, which is super cool. It's going to be hosted by Blessing Adeoye Jr., who is from Kind of Funny. He's a really cool dude and a good host. So I think that should be really dope. And yeah, they're supposed to show stuff from Disney and Pixar games, Marvel games, Lucasfilm games, and 20th Century games. A couple of titles they mentioned were Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is like this new I guess rip off of Stardew Valley, Minecraft kind of some nonsense. I don't know, it's like an Animal Crossing but with Disney characters. I'm gonna just be very reductive. Marvel's Midnight Suns, which recently got a delay, but this is the XCOM team that's making the strategy RPG with the Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is kind of a spinner take on the Midnight Suns storyline from the comics. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, so maybe we're going to hear about some expansions or something like that. Maybe they'll do something for Rogue One or Han or Solo or something like that. And this one is a thing we reported on not that long ago, a sneak peek at the upcoming Ensemble game from Skydance New Media. If you recall, that is the studio that Amy Hennig now works at, who's the creator of Uncharted and a really fantastic writer. So they are making a Marvel game, and we're supposed to get a sneak peek at this thing. So that alone makes it really cool. That should be really exciting. Other things that we could see there too is I'm trying to think. I mean, Crystal Dynamics could still put out something for the Avengers. I don't think that game's doing that well. I don't know if they're going to keep making that much more new content. I keep seeing costumes coming out and stuff like that, but I don't know if there's any more characters. I feel like they might have said they're not going to add more characters, but maybe there's other content. I don't know. The other thing that we could see too is, if you remember, not that long ago, or it might have been a year or two ago at this point. Again, time. Don't understand it. Machine Games, who makes I believe it's the Wolfenstein team. I think that's right. They are making a Indiana Jones game, which would fall under Lucasfilm Games. Also, I think that would fit under this Disney and Marvel umbrella and Lucasfilm Games. So that could be something that we see. Is the Indiana Jones game? Get a sneak peek at that. I would love to. I think it's about time. They've been working on that for at least a year or two at this point. So I would think they could get something together, even if it's just a CGI trailer with some concept stuff. So we kind of have an idea of what they're going for, or a tone piece. They just did that one little teaser where it just panned across the desk and you saw the whip and the hat and I don't know, research or some shit. So that's exciting. I don't think we will see anything from the Wolverine game right now. One thing though that we possibly could see is a peek at Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Remastered just came out for PC. So that was the original Spider-Man game that they released on PlayStation. That just got a PC version. Obviously, Miles Morales has been out for a little bit. It was a launch title on PS5, and also a great game. But yeah, we've only seen another a CG trailer for Spider-Man 2 that kind of gave us the setup that Venom's going to be in it, and that's all we've gotten so far. So, and that game's I think supposed to drop next year. So very likely we could see maybe some gameplay or some more information on that. What else could we be seeing? I'm trying to think. I feel like there's another video superhero game in development that I'm not thinking of, a Fantastic Four game or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be a really cool surprise. But that is September 9th. So definitely we will. I'm sure Mario and I will cover that, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of announcements and information coming out of that, just even on the movie and TV front. So stay tuned. That's something too. What's the timing on it? Is it a 4 p.m. ET on Friday? 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll have to work it out with Mario. We'll discuss it. That would be really cool to do a live stream and a live reaction, and just do that, and then we could put the archive up on YouTube. But that might be cool to do a watch along. So stay tuned. And maybe if you can't do it, I'll try to do it. I'm gonna really try to stick to that. That's something I really want to start doing, and that might be really fun. So we'll talk about it more. We got another 2 weeks or more, 3 weeks. I don't know. Whatever. Next. So we have a James Bond casting rumor. So I'm not sure. Okay, so I got this off some like weird website, so I wanted to make sure if they were the source or somebody else. So this is according to Express UK. Um, it's like a little rumor regarding James Bond casting for the next whoever the next James Bond is going to be, whoever's going to replace Daniel Craig's 007. So take it with a grain of salt. But quote, the Bond producers are looking for a younger Bond, someone probably in their 30s. At the end of the day, they want someone who will be Bond for the next 3 movies. For the franchise, they want someone who will carry it through the same way Daniel Craig did it. Um, so they are looking for a younger Bond. So I think like a lot of people, right, that have been in the mix, people have been saying like Henry Cavill, Tom Hardy, Idris Elba, those names have been thrown out. All those guys are like, either on the like Henry Cavill's 39, Tom Hardy's 44, Idris Elba's 49. So yeah, if they do want to do like another like 3 I think what Craig ended up doing, like 4 movies, 5 movies. But if they do want to have someone locked in for like 3 films, I guess, that, might have a couple of years, in between each of them. They're going to want someone that's in their 30s. So you can like kind of watch them like grow up in the role. So, and Daniel Craig, like when he did it, he was in, I think I might have that information somewhere here. How old was Craig? Craig was 38 in Casino Royale, so he was late 30s. So yeah, by the time he finished, he's 54 now, and the last movie just came out, so like he was already in like his early 50s by the time he shot that, or late 40s. So yeah, it might be he was a little like older, a little more veteran, at that point. Why don't we start with like a younger Bond and have someone maybe a little earlier in their career? Could be cool. I know Casino Royale technically is kind of like somewhat kind of an origin, like early career Bond thing. But yeah, maybe they could do that. They could do that again in a different way. I don't know. But yeah, they want someone that's going to be able to last with the franchise and like go like an actual couple movies. So I don't really know, like have like anyone in mind off the top of my head. Honestly, like I kind of hope they just find like a nobody that like really just surprises us. I don't need some like big name going in there. So, but yeah, I'm like really curious like what direction they'll go, because I wonder if they'll try to go back to the more like silly, over the top Bond. We'll call it the Fast and the Furious Bond, like what they did with like Pierce Brosnan. Like his Bond movies were basically the Fast and the Furious of the Bond movies. Well, no, obviously the older ones can be a little corny and cheesy too, more than a little. But they are. I've seen all of them. But Craig's was much more grounded, much more visceral, much more hard hitting. He was a little more sloppy, a little more scrappy in it, not like this like refined like one liner guy every 5 seconds. With like a smart aleck remark. Here and there he did, but it was a much more like emotionally charged like Bond series. So yeah, I don't know. Like I really do hope they reinvent it and do something like really risky with it. It could be really cool. Also might be cool if they take a younger Bond, but maybe they do set it back. They do like a period piece with it and set it back in like the 60s or 70s or something. That could be kind of cool. Doing a more like doing like the older like 60s 70s time, but obviously with like a modern day budget and twist and eye for everything. That could be really really cool. There's not a script yet or anything either. And they want to reinvent Bond. They want to do another reinvention. So we'll see what happens. I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit today. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those days. My brain's like kind of like mushy soup. So I apologize. Next, this was actually really crazy. I couldn't believe this. And I want to talk to Mario about it because I'm sure he's like sad too. So yeah, Superman and Lois is going to be recasting Jonathan Kent. Jordan Elsass, who plays Jonathan Kent on the show, is exiting the series. So apparently the reason they gave was personal reasons, according to sources. I should say, did I say Deadline? This is from Deadline, so it's legit. No comment yet from Elsass or his team. According to sources, Elsass has been dealing with serious personal issues, some of them possibly related to mental health, that the series producers became aware of. there's also conflicting information whether Elsas was left or was let go. There was also some note in here that they don't know about his vaccination status, and the show shoots in Vancouver, and in Canada you like have to be vaccinated to come back to the country, and apparently he used an exception during filming last season, but now we don't know if like that's like still okay or you know, I don't know. But apparently he didn't even attempt to return to set. He didn't like show up. He did not report back to work by the deadline given to the cast to reconvene in Vancouver. So like, yeah, that's kind of like I kind of skipped like the big thing there. He just did it. He didn't show up. They're supposed to start filming and he did not show up. And now we have this information that he might have mental health issues or some personal issues. So anyway, this is a real bummer because I think he's like one of the better actors on the show. In my opinion, he is a better actor than the actor who plays. It's just confusing. The actor who plays Jordan Kent on the show, because this actor who plays Jonathan Kent, his real name is Jordan. That's confusing. But anyway, Jonathan Kent, this actor, Jordan Elsas, who plays Jonathan Kent, I think is the better actor of the two brothers. And just out of like all the younger actors on the show, I think he's one of the better ones. So that kind of blows. And you know, it's going to be a little like jarring to just like recast and like stick him in there and like have him, you know, pick up the rest of it. But c'est la vie. I hope everything's okay because you know, that sucks. Like that's weird, man. This is like a pretty popular show. It's a hit show. And you're, you know, fucking the only Superman thing going on right now. And then just to like not show back up and like not be there and like piss it away and a paycheck. Must be something pretty serious. So yeah, I wish him well. I hope everything's okay. Maybe there's a chance this can resolve itself, but that really blows. And also like he's not back. And now if they have to recast it, I wonder if this delays when we see season 3 of Superman and Lois, or it debuts when they want it to debut, but then we start getting those like couple of we're gonna be off for 2 weeks, come back for an episode, be off for a week, come back for 2 episodes, be off for 2 weeks, because like they'll have to like catch up because you know maybe they can pump a couple episodes out, but I don't know. That kind of blows. That's sad. I really like that show a lot, and I'm sorry to see Jordan go. Sadness. Sad tear. Lord of the Rings spinoff. So Lord of the Rings, the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, they were just embraced by the Embracer Group. So I had talked about this Embracer Group some podcasts back. The Embracer Group is like this like Swedish like conglomerate of like investors and stuff, and they've just been like recently they've been buying a shitload of like video game companies up. They bought THQ, right? They just bought Crystal Dynamics and some of the American studios from Square Enix. They've been buying everything and absorbing it all. And they've been embracing it. I can't resist how can you resist the joke? The Embracer Group, just everything is getting pulled into its embrace. So yeah, they got the rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So they don't have like publication rights. So that's like still the Tolkien estate, and that's like HarperCollins, the publisher. But they have the rights to do a bunch of stuff. So they are going to explore movie tie-ins for some of the characters. So I think they now also like get some kind of piece of the pie of Amazon's Rings of Power show. So they probably collect some money from that. And there's going to be a War of the Rohirrim anime film, which is based off of some other story, like side story from Tolkien that's connected to Lord of the Rings. But yeah, they're saying like, hey, we got these rights now. We want to make movies for a bunch of iconic characters from the Tolkien catalog. So they threw out Gandalf, Aragorn, Gollum, Galadriel, Eowyn. So yeah, they're looking to monetize the shit out of Lord of the Rings. So I guess get prepared for more stuff. So what, you know, with this announcement, is that something that interests you as a listener? Like, do you want to see like, you know, an independent like Gandalf or Aragorn movie? Does that not interest you at all? Do you think like, oh my God, look at this company just like milking and pumping out shit, or like, you wait and see? I would love to hear what you guys think. For my 2 cents, I think, you know, listen, if it's done well, you can give me anything. Just do it well. Aragorn could be really cool because we do know there's that period when he's not going by Aragorn anymore, and he's going by Strider, and he's like a bounty hunter or something like that. That could be cool to do like a young Aragorn series, and like, you know, the time you know, before we meet him and run into him in the Fellowship of the Ring and see him out, like almost like do the Mandalorian, but with Strider, Aragorn, you know, roaming around Middle Earth, you know, catching people. That could be cool. Yeah, I just gave you the setup. Just do the Mandalorian in a fantasy setting. Done. You made an awesome show. Get a good actor. Gandalf would also be really dope. Obviously, we'd have to get like a younger actor. We're not going to use Ian McKellen, even though it's iconic. Could be cool if they get him to like narrate it as like a flashback thing, and he like does a voiceover, and we get some young Gandalf like training at the thing. But might be too Harry Potter for it all. But maybe they could like do it where he's like still like an adult, and it's like an adult Harry Potter twist. There you go. I just gave you another great pitch. That's how you do it. A Gollum movie. Well, we're about to get a Gollum game that I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but a Gollum movie could be interesting. Even though we kind of saw the backstory, like obviously very quickly abridged. How he became Gollum, how Smeagol became Gollum. We did see that in the movies, but they could do like something expand on it, or like just do him as Gollum. But that's also like hard, like to separate that role from Andy Serkis. So unless like he was back to do it, I don't know. Also, I feel like a long movie with him or like a big series with Gollum might get a little grating, which is with the voice and just like his general gross demeanor. Might be. I'm not the biggest Tolkien and expert, Lord of the Rings expert. So Galadriel, I don't remember who that is, and Eowyn, I think I do remember. I knew this girl in college named Eowyn, and she was like super weird, and I bet her parents were too, because they were probably like they definitely named her after a Lord of the Rings elf. So come on. But whatever, nerds are my people, so I shouldn't say they're weird. That's mean. So yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. So yeah, get ready to just start like they're gonna Star Wars it. They're gonna start spinning off every fucking character into their own movie or series or something like that, and make that money. So the Embracer Group strikes again. Oh wow, folks. So move through this a lot quicker than I thought I was. So this is gonna be a little bit of a short episode this week. So I apologize for that. If you were like hoping like, well, I need 15 more minutes, but yeah, I didn't. That's all the topics that I found super interesting. You know what we could do in real time right now is I could just take a quick peek and see if anything else interesting came out. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. Is there anything good? No, I meant to watch She-Hulk before recording this episode, and I was going to actually talk about that at the end, but I decided to record the podcast earlier in the night than I normally would, so I didn't get a chance to watch She-Hulk. In fact, I will probably try to go watch She-Hulk now, so I'll report back to you next week on all that. Yeah, guys, thank you again for listening. Remember, you can always reach us at thefanboypodcast@gmail.com or at the Fanboy Show on Twitter. Tweet us your topics, your questions. If you do have any more topics, questions, and listen, if you want to ask us stuff that's like not related to movies and TV and video games, that's cool too. You want to know what our favorite sandwiches are, or if we think cotton pillows or down pillows are better. I don't know why I use that example, but you feel free to ask us. I think that stuff's fun. Get to know us better, and we get to know you guys better, the listeners. So yeah, please get at us. Remember, if you do tweet us the questions at the Fanboy Show, use the hashtag #AskTheFanboys, because that's an easy way for us to just like pull up the list and find them and then have them ready. And then if you email me, I pretty much try to check it every day. And if we get an email, while I don't respond, you can be assured that I do check it out and I do read them. And I usually make a little highlight them in the inbox. And then when we finally do this little fan mail listener topic episode, whatever we're going to call it, an Ask the Fanboys episode, I guess that's what we'll call it. I will be able to easily go to the inbox and just hit the ones that I have highlighted, and we can ask those questions. So I'm very excited to record that one, because I think that's going to give us a lot of cool little topics to explore that we don't always get from the weekly news, or that sometimes I can't think of on the spot. I apologize that I've been a little like off today, not speaking well, a little scatterbrained. Apologize, just long day, and I had to close my office door. And I have the fan on, but because the office door is closed, the AC and the cold air is not getting in here, and I'm getting warm and just hot and bothered. So, man, first world problems. But thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And hey, life is chaos. Be kind. Stay fanboy. Adios.